off we go.
All right. Hello, YouTube and Facebook for our board meeting. I don't even know if we know what we're doing for our board meeting, but it's what we do every other week. And this like mirror thing is getting to me again. It's me in the middle. I put a couple things on the agenda just because I needed some things okayed for the YouTube channel or brainstorm. But other than that, I don't really know what we're doing today, but I'm sure we always manage to fill the hour, move it forward. So we'll figure it out. So the two things I just was when we post something on YouTube, I don't know if we can do it through StreamYard anyway, because StreamYard always seems to post as entertainment on my channel, but there's like, you can pick a category that it normally posts as, and I think both are set to entertainment. My channel and TogetherTec are set to entertainment. I don't think entertainment covers it. So there's nonprofit and activism, and there's technology, and then there's like people and blogs, which mine might fit under, but we're TogetherTec. What do we want TogetherTec?
And you have to pick one?
Just to be the main one that it automatically is, unless you go in.
Right. Okay. I mean, nonprofit and activism is probably the closest thing, I think.
This is that or technology. I was like, where's nonprofit technology?
Yeah.
Like, who are our people that we want to find it? People who are looking for nonprofit activism or people who are looking for technology? My guess is nonprofit activism is more.
I think so. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely not totally cut and dry. Like, it's a completely valid question.
If it was.
Yeah. I think in the short term, it'll be nonprofit activism. And then when we get enough momentum and we go more mainstream, it might be tech.
True.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. And then the other thing I just had on the agenda was every other week at this time, we're doing idea cafes, right, for our projects. I have no idea what questions for those look like. So brainstorming some questions, and then we can just make a schedule and then pick one. But that's half of why the videos aren't posted beforehand is like I have to think of them, and then I just procrastinate on that until later. So we can generate 3 or 4 questions that then, we don't need to visit it again for another couple of weeks, and then we can pick.
Right.
And we can rotate them. It doesn't need to be new ones every time, but.
And refresh my memory on the idea cafes. Are those like completely open, or is that meant to be idea cafes sort of adjacent to TogetherTec?
Idea Cafe is its own YouTube channel, right, that I do every Tuesday, and it was going to be a platform. An Idea Cafe is just an hour-long conversation where everyone takes a turn answering the question for up to 5 minutes without interruption, and then you have an open discussion. So it's got a bit of format to it, but it's mainly so people know what that question is. They're not feeling like it's just a round table. But it's got to be like a question that people want to answer about their project, but you know what I mean? Like it's different than the other Idea Cafe where it's about the individual.
You've got the Idea Cafe channel, and you've got other spots throughout the week that you do whatever topics, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's sort of meant to be like a crossroads of the Idea Cafe format on a topic that's somewhat related to TogetherTec. Is that what we're saying? Are the Friday Idea Cafes?
I believe the every other Friday Idea Cafe was to have an Idea Cafe just because it's a way to have a conversation that isn't the round table where we're all answering. Like one of them was like, how could your project be used during the pandemic, right? If you've known beforehand, or how does trust impact you, right? Or how do you see financing? I mean, any of those things, but those questions, like generating 3 or 4 of them that are project specific without them being too project specific, right? Not how is WikiLection going to save the pandemic? It's like, how is your project going to save it? And
I think we just start out listing the
generating 3 or 4.
Hey, Shalom. I think we start out initiate with just kind of the basics like funding, attracting users, which I guess might fall under marketing. Building a landing page could even be, stuff like that. So
we're talking like kind of something like some question around like how does the marketing work for your project?
Well, I guess it's answering the question. I kind of see it as it's a working session for us to work on things that help all the projects, either in the moment or building something central for all the projects. So yeah, I think the topic could be marketing, and then the answer could be, oh, what am I doing on my project? So you can learn from that.
Right.
What are the problems I'm having that we can workshop together? Although maybe that's closer to the Saturday meeting.
Right.
So I might be getting them mixed up. But I kind of think of it be like, I really think of it like, okay, so let's tackle funding. How do we fund all the projects? Right. How do we do a group funding for TogetherTec? It's the way I see it, but tell me if that's wrong.
So yes, so that's a part of the like Fridays is more meta project, right? Saturdays is your project, and the meta. So yeah,
Friday,
so this one's the board. This is the board meetings. This is like how do we move the meta project actually forward, right? The other one is the idea cafe, which it doesn't need to be, right? It could be that it's just a topic, right? It's marketing, and then people can share whatever they want to. It's not a question necessarily. And then we might be able to even get experts on that to come and talk about it and help brainstorm. We could change it. I just don't know if it's within my capacity because then I can't like finding experts, and I'm kind of all about whoever shows up, and we're all experts.
Let's not worry about that until someone has a specific need.
So if we can do it in the Idea Cafe format, just so that we don't have to format something new, and then we can kind of make it wiggle around, like, what are you currently doing for marketing and your project, right? And then but you're bringing your project to it, even though it is the meta project, right? Like it's like you're representing your project, but in the meta project of like, what could we do together? But I find people don't understand that they're part of the meta, even when they are. So they're like, oh, that's not my piece. And it's so creating the question around your project. So people come and bring their project, and then they're already part of the meta project, right?
Right.
It's just like a slightly different focus our Friday versus our Saturday, but very similar.
So Saturday is really specifically it's your project, but it's more like what have I done and what do I need help with over any topic, and that's fits the mastermind format. And so Friday is just an open idea cafe about projects under a specific topic for each week.
Yeah, because the Idea Cafe is around a question, right? You each take turns answering the question.
So so a question might be how do you market? I think how do you market your project? How do you fund your project? Stuff like that. What are some? And I don't know. Marketing may be too big. Maybe it should be how do I find users, or how do you find users for your project? How do you find?
How do you get the word out for your
volunteers?
Project?
Or just get the word out.
How do you build an audience? Like that.
Yeah, and that's where, like, honestly, marketing's the word. Like, it's like, even if it's a bad connotation, it's like no matter, because whatever your project is what that is, and it's like that's marketing.
I was just thinking though, there's two focuses. One is to like just get users of the product, and one is to get volunteers for the project. And I think those might be two different conversations, but they both. I mean, marketing's really the user side, but it could mean both. Because you do marketing for volunteers too.
And to be fair, I think the term marketing can be a bit loose. I think a lot of people, when they hear marketing, just think advertising, and I think that might get some wires crossed. So I agree with taking it a layer or two down and doing stuff like, how would you build your audience? How would you like that sort of a more.
And plus, if we're re-hitting the topics, which we think we'll do, having them slightly nuanced, a little different, might generate different conversations.
Can't remember his name. I'll have to rewatch it. We'll look at the name, but he had mentioned that there's the Zoom coffee meeting right now. I think we both, I missed it because I had to go get meds for my dad, but I missed it yesterday. I'm like, they scheduled it during our time. Yeah. We're always at this time.
Yeah, we've been doing this for several months now. So
we're good. And I mean, mapping's mapping. They'll figure it out or they won't. I was hoping to be part of that conversation, but it'll be figured out one way or the other, or not, and no one will move forward with it. If it wasn't during this time, I would be on it, or if I was able to go to the one yesterday.
Yeah, and mapping really is kind of, I guess it could have multiple projects underneath it, but I guess I still don't quite know what the scope of what they mean by mapping. For me, I think of it like education, but they may be meaning another way. But we can discuss that later.
Yeah, and find out.
I don't know.
I'm looking. To like watch the video if they post it in the Facebook group and see what they mean by mapping, and then offer whatever I can offer from that space. But like, this is always at noon on Friday, so same time every time. For what, since October?
So do we want to brainstorming topics for the idea
I think we
cafe?
have some. I think that works. I put them in the agenda. It's just like, how do you market your project? How do you fund your project? How do you get people for your project? Yeah,
Good.
are pretty common. Those can be the broader ones over the next. So that'll be 6 weeks, right? Because it's every other week. And then the Saturday ones are pretty easy. I'm going to start, because I have so many videos that I do every week, and I keep doing them like the morning of or the night of, be like, oh crap, and I don't have them up. So I'm going to try on Sundays where I have nothing planned to get just the videos up for the next week. So therefore, our Friday and Saturday one will be up the Sunday, the previous, posting it in Game B. I'm creating just like a spreadsheet for like what I'm up to every week so people can keep up to it. Part of which is TogetherTec, right? The Saturday and the Friday. So people can see what's going on for the week, or can go to that tab and see for TogetherTec Fridays, what's happening, TogetherTec Saturdays, what did happen, what is happening. They'll know that every Sunday that's posted so that you can go there to get it. I don't have to post it to every individual person. How do I send this to your email and send this to your Twitter and your Messenger? And it's too much. So having one place, they can keep track of me instead of keeping track of them. But that's me, not TogetherTec.
So did we hit both topics there, Jubilee?
Yeah, just Idea Cafe questions, and we're doing activism and nonprofit for YouTube.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, and then this is the board meeting. So now we kind of talk about what do we want to do to move the meta project forward itself, right? Mm-hmm. Anyone got any ideas?
No, but I think
go ahead.
We're doing it like there's a few people, and which reminds me, I did not send this to Brad, but I don't know with our board meeting specifically whether people come or not, right? Like whether, because it's our meta project, so you're more than welcome. We're not even a board yet, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it is more focused on the meta project. When someone comes who has no idea what's going on, it's a little much. But like Shiloh, no, you know what I mean? Like how many things have you attended, and you know as much as we know anyway what TogetherTec and the meta project kind of is. So what was my point of that? One, our meta project is moving forward. I mean, I think our Facebook group has had more activity, from us, of course, but other people have been posting as well. And I guess that is what, like, just hammering out's the wrong word, but hammering out what we want the Facebook group to look like, whether we want to have one of us take on the posting or updates, like one of us takes it on and we're doing it every Wednesday. And then we the rest of it, all right, we're supposed to update our own individual projects and putting that, like what under TogetherTec are we doing in the Game B Facebook? How often do we want to be doing it, and who wants to take it on?
Yeah, so are you thinking maybe for the updates, maybe we do a single post and then people put the updates in the comments rather than like I've been doing just a post per project?
Yeah, which also works because there isn't that much activity, right? But it's more inviting other people. Like, does that invite them in the same way as posting and saying, hey, ready for your weekly updates, post them here. Yeah. Right. And then we know someone posts that every Wednesday and posts theirs, or we can keep it like that and we can just, whoops, I think it's been a week, I should update. Oops.
Yeah, I have been doing it for the last several weeks. So next week I could just on Thursday, I already have it on my calendar, I can create a post and invite people and then put mine in the comments rather than what I've been doing and doing. I do my updates for my main Facebook page for the project. But yeah, so I can just try that next week if you like.
Yeah, sounds good. Is there anything else we're doing? I mean, we're doing project raisings. I put up as something anyone can coordinate in the Facebook group, right? Say when you're available, ask for people. No one's yet to have done that, but I feel good with what we're doing. Where Saturday is a round table and we're not going back and forth. But then if somebody really wanted a project raising, I'm also.
So I did want to kind of figure out. So I kind of brought up the idea, hey, do we want to have a discussion about replying to people or phrasing to people things? Because I've had a need for that. I got a couple topics. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what's the easiest way to make that happen. So I didn't know, it doesn't really fit in an idea cafe because it's kind of more specific. But I'd be happy to do it at an idea cafe time if you're low on topics, which you're probably not. And then if not, then I'm just trying to think of the logistics of scheduling it. What do we suggest people just throw up a doodle and see when people are available, or just post with a time and see if anyone shows up? Do you have any
I
idea?
mean, for like you mean you want to do your own project raising and you want to?
Well,
That what you
I mean, I wanted to have that conversation with this group, and I guess I don't really care when or how.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just seeing what if anyone says that there's a regular meeting time, and I guess actually we could do that. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really fit even in the Idea Cafe Friday things.
I think the best thing to do is to pick a time that you want to do it and put it up there, because that's what we want them to do, right? Is like pick a time you're available. If you have 3 or 4 times available, then by all means do a doodle poll and then pick the one that most people will say yes to. But otherwise, pick a time and then let's see if people show up, right?
Yeah.
And of which, if I can, I will be one of those people. But like, who else shows up, right? To invite people to say this is what it looks like to do your own solution raising.
Okay.
Project
So
raising,
throw out,
right?
Throw out a time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of the best way, or if we had another meeting time that we wanted to use for that, because I don't want to create a separate meeting if we have it. But it sounds like we don't. So, So I'll just throw out a time for next week.
Yeah. The idea is I don't want other people using our time, right? Like I don't want other people being
Right.
like, oh, I'm gonna do, because Friday is a bit, but like Saturday is our round table. So if we're doing project raisings also, then it was kind of hard, the 9 a.m., 2 a.m. thing. But that's not what we want people to do. But like if they knew they could schedule one at any point in time, everyone's home right now anyway, people will hopefully show up. Then they can schedule it at their convenience and see who shows up. And that's what I want to give them permission to do. I've literally given them permission on Facebook, like typed it out and said that, but no one's done it. So it's like doing that so that we see, right, what that looks like.
I guess my thought is I don't know that anyone's going to show up. I mean, you all said you would participate, but I'm just wondering whether if I just throw a random date and time, what's the chance that anyone's going to be able to make it? And I have a pretty open schedule, but it's worth a try. I would just say that's why I was kind of thinking about, is there a better way to do it?
Yeah. And that is part of it too, because other people don't have this conversation first, right? So that is like a vulnerable thing to put yourself out there and say, hey, I want to do a project raising at noon on Wednesday, and then no one shows up. It feels gross. Like it's like, oh, no one likes me. Like it's a different, whereas.
Well, that's why I'm wondering whether if we could somehow facilitate to make it more likely that it would work, but I don't have any solutions.
I mean, my only suggestion would be, like you said, to pick a time and then say, hey, if there's someone who, you pick a time when you're available to do this one, but that becomes like the project raising time. Maybe there's 2 or 3 throughout the week where it's like, if someone signs up for that, we know, like, as a member of TogetherTec, I know that solution raisings happen Monday at 1, Thursdays at 3, and this time at that, and I can see, but then we need some more people to be able to sign up and say, yes, I'm taking this slot, who's coming, right? So as a member, I have 3 slots that I know if I'm available, I could attend them, and I can see, did someone sign up for that? Will I attend it? Then as a project, I can pick a slot, and then if there's 2 or 3 to choose from, then people will be more likely to show up, but also less likely.
Yeah.
Then it's like, other people are there.
One, right?
Yeah.
Although I'm wondering maybe, I'm thinking, I wonder if we could just had another time that was just kind of an open meeting. Because we're not doing project, so are we still doing a project raising alternating with on Saturdays?
No, that's it. We haven't been doing that for a while. I mean, I'm more than happy to do that for Reason Score, for sure.
No, that's good.
Like beyond, but at the same time, it's like part of it is giving other people permission.
Right. Okay, so right now we don't have any project raisings regularly scheduled. We just have the Saturday.
Might not be bad to do it there, just to do a project raising, because it's been a while since we've done one, and people might have kind of forgot what that looks like and why it's good, and it's kind of an excuse to have one. It gives you a spot to do it. Like it's.
We could do how we were going to do a 9 a.m. 2 p.m. on Saturday. We could do that. Like we could have the odd time someone wants a solution raise, and we could hold the 2 p.m. slot for that, and do them then. The other option is we can put out a doodle poll to the community. When are you usually available? We're looking to make one time slot for project raisings. And then also we can maybe have a sign up sheet with Reason Score being the first sign up. And then have it be that, hey, if you've participated in them, or watched a few, sign up. Otherwise, like, so you know what it looks like, and we know you've come to that. You know, even if you're just participating in the comments, like have it be, then people know to sign up and know to attend before they have theirs. And I just don't know exactly what that would look like beyond it.
Yeah, I thinking through. I think just right now, what I'll do is I'll post one in there for the 2 p.m. slot on Saturday because we're not using that, right? And maybe that should just be our kind of, not, I mean, kind of like here's a time that a lot of people tend to be available. And then if people start saying they can't attend and they want to, then we can do another doodle poll. And so this meeting that I was going to put up is just talking about responses to stuff. It's not specifically reason score. Okay. Like actually the first one is I get a lot of headhunters on LinkedIn, and I'm like, okay, how do I tell these people I'm never going to use you because you're spamming me?
That exactly like that, but how do I tell people this?
Well, it's interesting because I got a response from one saying is that people get frustrated with this, but they don't understand that we're making a living, we're doing what we're told, and that's the only way the company can stay in business. And I'm like, well, if you can't find a way to get business without annoying people, maybe you shouldn't be in business. But yeah, but I just thought it'd be interesting to phrase that because some of them, this one guy, anyways. It's just, I just think it'd be helpful to have some thinking through stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'll schedule that.
Okay. Done that. Are you like tomorrow at 2 or next Saturday?
No, like next Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know if you want me on Sunday to make up that video as well. I can post it and just give me the title. So we can post it. We can do it in StreamYard. I don't think you have StreamYard capability.
Oh, yeah. So we can get the StreamYard set up for it. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And this is a non-wiki election week, right? The 2 p.m. Not that, I mean, you work full time. 9 a.m., 12 and 2 seems like a rather large schedule for a Saturday for you. But.
Well, we said we're doing it 2 p.m. next week.
Oh yeah, no, that is a wiki election one. But yeah, you're gonna be busy.
And I think one that Bentley is attending, so that'll be
nice.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
But you're attending wiki election one, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be 10 years. That'll be good.
So is there anything else in respect to Meta Project, how we actually move it forward? What's happening, Adro, with the NAC, the project thing? Have we even posted that in Game B projects? Or, okay, you posted it there. Have we posted it in regular Game B for people to see it?
Not yet. I wanted to have some stuff there to actually have some posts. Has anyone else posted anything? I
was supposed to go in and add some stuff, and I didn't. So maybe I'll do that while we're talking.
Okay. Yeah, I think so far it's been, I think, me, Jubilee, Bentley, forgetting the name from New Zealand, and Susan. Those people, and I believe like they've all got projects assigned, so go in there and log in and do stuff, and then we can also have people signing up who don't have project owners who just want to sort of see what's going on and kick tires and whatnot. But for the most part, I think it's important for us to actually get like at least a couple projects in there active, posting stuff, so that when you go look at like the event list, there's events. And you look at help needed, there's not just me. So that, but yeah, as soon as we have some stuff, I think that makes sense to post it into the Game B space so that.
Perfect, because when I put up the list of all of the videos for the week on Sunday, part of it is also probably adding into that. So
right.
I think I am one of the project holders for TogetherTec, if not the project holder for TogetherTec on that. Yeah. So I can add the TogetherTec ones to the events as well as the solution raising every week. And the other ones don't need to be on there because they're not under an umbrella of a project. This is specifically just the Idea Cafe is just Game B, the non-Friday one, I mean.
Yeah, and there is a spot to post events that don't have anything to do with a project that we can build out. So if you want to end up putting the Idea Cafe stuff on there, probably makes sense to wait until it's got a bit more people actually using it before that matters.
Yeah, plus it'll be like 90% Jubilees, which it seems to be. I only attend Jubilees meetings, so it feels like 100% Jubilee meetings, the things I attend.
If that's true for me, that must be true for everyone.
Exactly. You guys all have Jubilee at your meetings too, right? She said all of them? Yes. All right. So I'll do that this Sunday. I'll go on NAC and
Cool.
go on that part.
And then a part of that will also be tweaking that, like some of these subjects that we might be able to cover for the idea cafes, for the meta project, right? Or like questions that we have, right? Like what categories do we want to organize by? Is there a category that you have that we're missing? Are there the categories that we should, like merge, that type of thing? So that we can, any of those unanswered questions. Because right now it's not all that well set up for that regards, but like it's got spots for it. It's not very filled out yet.
There's also, I don't even know what solution raising is under because it's meta, right? It's like how we create solutions together, how we govern together, how we like governance.
Yeah, which there might end up being like a category for meta projects or something like that. Because it is weird to explain.
Meta projecting. It's like the Facebook group. We have these on Fridays and Saturdays. We're going to do one on 2 p.m. the week after this or we're calling it a project raising, right? We need a name for the project. Comebacks and quips. Answers to commonly asked questions. Anyway, let me know by Sunday and I'll make the video.
Oh, for that? Yeah.
We're calling it a project raising though, right? So that it's under that umbrella for.
Well, we can. I mean, it's not. It doesn't really. It's not really a project. It's more just a. But yeah.
We have half an hour. We can do it now if you want to. If the four of us are good.
Yeah, I mean, if we're out of other topics, although I guess as far as the product meta project, I was thinking, there's a couple things that we still kind of want to work on, or do you think that we're just going to kind of build up the community first? Like, do we want to figure out how we're going to eventually collect some funds and pay for some development, or what's the other thing? Or just determine, what software do we, or is the meta project really just a community, which is fine?
Yeah. So I think we do that when the time comes, like because right now, theoretically, one of us could, like, if we wanted to put $10 in a month, we could just pick one of us that's not me. And, you know what I mean? Give them the $10, then they pay for the things because we're not even incorporated, nothing's there. But as soon as, like, someone else comes on board that doesn't know us and that's when it's like when someone else is dying to give us their money, that's the point where, like, right, there's enough of us we want to be able to generate, or when we have something we have to pay for. Right.
Yeah, I guess it's really something we have to pay for, enough of a need. Because we decided that the scheduling program really wasn't. I mean, if we start using the one that Jonas made, it'd probably be good to just compensate him a little bit just to start the process flowing.
Yeah, especially if it costs him anything to run it. But if he just coded it. Now, I'm not discounting Jonas's work or anyone's work in any way, but like I've been doing this full time for 4 years. Where's my compensation? You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're putting in what we want to put in, and then we are going to figure out at some point how to compensate fairly. But like, why that one and not Adriel's knack, right? Why that one and not that? Like, why are we compensating this and not that?
Yeah.
Is
unless
it was like, I need money, and then that's a different.
It's never going to be. It's never going to be fair. But but I think to get the ball rolling, you need to start somewhere. So I don't think we'll like get a big enough project and we'll say, oh, this is worth paying for, let's do it. I think that, if we're spending time doing this, then, maybe we should all donate to a thing and disperse on it just to get the ball kind of rolling. Because I don't think there's ever going to be something big enough that if we don't start small, that it will work.
Yeah.
So there's also.
I think if we just start with building the community, because I think that was sort of what started this part of it, was what do we start with? And I think if you just start with building your community or your audience, A, they'll tell you, and B, you can ask them. So you can say like, hey, there's 100 of us now, what's next? And in my mind, we keep money out of it. I think the first step for money is we'll end up paying for things that just the project needs, right? Think like if Jonas's tool, like if there's actually hosting costs involved, then yeah, that's maybe we pay for that because we're fine with, we've all put in time, but maybe certain times we're like, okay, if you put in actual money, we'll try to, buffer that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of free hosting, but it's such low volume. I mean, I'm paying. It's nothing for this project, but even my small sites, actually, most of it's free. But yeah, I mean, I guess we should find out whether he's paying. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's not some hosting cost somewhere.
Exactly. And I think it's per person. Like so far, all the money I've been spending, I've sort of classified it in my head as being under WikiElection. Like for both StreamYard and Knack, I pay for them, but mainly for WikiElection. So I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So I wanted to mention last Saturday I missed our roundtable because I was having the conversation with Matan about Common, which is due out at the end of June, beginning of July, but it'll be very beta. And he's going to put me in touch with the person who's actually in charge of putting people on the beta or figuring that out. Cause, it's like Facebook meets Kickstarter with governance involved. So it's instead of saying, hey, Adriel's starting WikiElection, and so he is a Kickstarter and funds the money and he owns it. It's from what I understand, it's not my project, but it's more, hey, let's figure out politics. We want to figure out politics, and people put money towards that common goal. And then together we do a bit of governance on, like, maybe there's a board of directors and we decide on this, but anyone who's put money in could theoretically take over, right? Because they could say, hey, no, you're doing it wrong. So you can start with a campaign, and then the people who are putting the money in and involved can actually shift it and change it. And so that's very exciting to me because I'm like, yes, if that exists, that sounds really cool. So it sounds like there's a way to also get money from that, but I don't know if it'll be within our alignment because then we'd have to pass off control to the people. Oh wait, that's what we want. So, oh wait, yeah, right. We're the people right now. And then for something like that though, then it could be, hey, no, we're putting $10 a month in. So we're the ones. And then as people come on board and they're willing to put in the money, then they get a say, right? They get a say in what does this meta project look like? What does this? And so I don't know, he's going to put me in touch with the person. I don't know if solution raising works with that and or TogetherTec, but I'm sure there's something we could put on Common when it first comes out. That is. So
is that the mystery project that someone's building in Game B, or is that outside of?
It's the DAO stack, and he's not in Game B. But Jordan put me in touch with him. All
right. Have we heard any more about the mystery solution in Game B that keeps popping up, but no one will tell us about?
No.
Did y'all see that post?
I don't think so.
I mean, no one called it mystery, but there was like. Someone posted, hey, so we need, an area to do this, get together, do scheduling for projects, I think was the one it was. And we're like, oh, we're doing this one. And then someone goes, oh, well, there's someone building this that's in Game B. And I'm like, are they going to tell anyone about it? Or are they just going to...
Because that's really helpful.
Yeah, so I was just wondering if I just couldn't tell if that was that or something else.
Yeah, no, he's not in Game B specifically. Okay. It's someone with the DAO stack.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. That DAO stuff is all that flavors is kind of what TogetherTec needs. So that's really good.
Matan gets into the difference between Holochain and DAO stack at the beginning when I asked him, and he seemed to think it was very concrete. I have no way understand the difference between. Did you watch it, Shiloh? You don't understand it either. The difference between Holochain and DAO stack after watching it. I was like, yes.
I feel like I do, and I don't think he described it very well.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I was like, he was describing it over my head anyway. He was like, well, I don't even know how, like, it was like couldn't even explain the difference because they were so different, is how I was getting what he was saying. I was like, in my head, they're the same. They're like an umbrella project of projects. One's blockchain and one's not. And it's like, and they're both very techy and whatever. So, but I'm excited by the Common that it's going to exist and that we can use it. Anything that's decentralized and helps us work together more effectively, which is what the DAO stack is concentrating on, is more of kind of what we're doing, but behind the scenes, not live on YouTube.
Yeah, cool.
And actually doing it, like actually making the things, which you both are. I'm just, having the conversations, which is a thing.
Yeah, no, it sounds interesting. I wouldn't use like it for any of the main projects now because I'd want to see, what it does and how it works and how it actually behaves. But super cool idea.
I would absolutely use it for solution raising. Like, what's the worst? They take over the education project and make it, and it's horrible.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like, I guess my point is, I wouldn't use it for any like projects that are established and moving along.
You wouldn't want someone taking over Wiki Election, but I'm like literally, and I probably wouldn't for solution raising itself, but for a solution raising,
right.
Yes.
Well, yeah. If it starts there and evolves there, then do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, I need to dig a little deeper because Reason Score would be a potential tool within, it's a governance tool. It's one of the, it's not a solve-all solution, but it's one small piece.
I'm excited that I get to come in contact with these projects, even if I can't keep them straight in my head. All these amazing things that could and would exist, but so much easier to keep your guys' projects somewhat separated because I know you guys and I know
you get to hear about them in bits over time, so it just keeps reinforcing it. It's
even then I wouldn't want to like explain it. Like I was trying to get Chandel, our cousin, in touch with Susan, and it was like, what do I tell her about your project though? I'm like, I need the words. Like I don't, the name isn't gonna like cut it. It's like, okay, treaty law, an invitation to a Zoom call. Okay, that I can do.
Yeah.
Word part for me, please. Which is sometimes people really don't know. I'm like, I can't put it in language right now. My brain's not working. To my cousin, like we don't talk to very often. So if anything else about the Meta project, next we can end it here. We could do the thing that you wanted to do at a different time, Bentley, or we can just continue. See what happens in the next week.
Yeah. Okay. So just. So we're not currently we're focusing on building the community as opposed to any particular tech because we don't have a big enough need yet. Okay.
Just that it's like growing our Saturdays, right? Like and I think we're doing really well. The same, like people are showing up consistently. It's the same people, and that's great because that is kind of what we want. We want the same people consistently showing up until there's too many. And then the idea was, I think we were going to switch to 2 p.m., do it 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. and do it on Zoom. I'm okay with figuring that out as we go, right? When there's too many of us to be on StreamYard, some people watching comments, I'm okay not showing up for the Saturdays. I'm okay just facilitating, putting other people up on the screen. And I'm okay going on to Zoom and figuring it out there. And doing that. But I think it's growing, and it's... like considering we only have like 89, 99, 89 somewhere members for the projects, and all of the Game B subgroups are like that. They actually have a lot of, for the number they actually have a lot of interaction. It's just Facebook doesn't really help you with your algorithm when you've got so few people. Like there's more than there is in solution raising. As there should be.
And the Game B wiki looks like it's got some more activity on there too. So if they do something, we may want to talk to them about integrating the NAC results into it or something.
Yeah, plus we have to figure out figure out what should live where.
Yeah. Oh, and on the project site, I added a role. I guess that's what I was working on.
So do you mean you added a project role on the NAC site?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what I need to kind of fill out to support so that we
and by all means, if there's any fields that you need to be able to properly articulate it, let me know. That's still very early days, but...
Oh, I can't think of anything to put in events. I mean, we have all these meetings that we're doing, but for Reason Score, I'm not going to have it.
For Reason Score, there might not be, right? If you don't do like any weekly or bi-weekly events under the umbrella of Reason Score, it's totally fine to have that be empty. But like if Jubilee and Wiki Election fill up the events list, and then Wiki Election and Reason Score fill up the help needed, that at least helps show like, oh, okay, here's what it looks like with multiple projects. Not everyone has to do everything. Cool. So I think that's still good. And that's for both types. That's the like roles that you already have, and then roles that you need help with. Both kinds are probably good.
That was
Yeah.
one of the questions I just added to the Idea Cafe as well. Like, what outside role would have the most impact if they were able to come on, right? Like, I need a lawyer, I need an advertiser, whatever that. I can't even articulate that.
I'm not
So
sure
I'm like,
how to articulate the version of the question I have, but it's something like kind of what are the categories of help that we think both that we need and that we think other projects might need, right? Because then it's like, I just got a really vague thing for like marketing. You're like, yeah, but that could be 100 different roles. How do we want to categorize it? Which is true for like, how do we want to categorize it as people that have projects that we need help with? But kind of more importantly, how do we think volunteers are going to be looking at the lists and wanting it categorized for sort of what they can do and how they can help? So they can just zero down in the, I can do these things, show me what I can help with.
So the way I've been thinking about doing that is not, as opposed to having roles and stuff like that. It's really, well, I mean, a role would be, in my mind, either a skill set that's needed for a thing or an actual task that you do. So you're responsible for doing X. So I would almost want it to be just a group of tags that I put on. So I might label it like community manager, but that doesn't mean anything. Like even software developer doesn't mean anything. So it really needs to be a lot more specific. Like for software developer, you'd list the actual tech. You wouldn't say software developer. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
Because
so are you talking about kind of like a long text area, like just where you could almost like, at least to start with, have like a bulleted list of here's the 5 to 10 things that this role would need to do, like actual, for a marketing person, you might put like post on social media once a week and, find out related articles and try to establish a relationship, like those sort of actual things that go under the umbrella of the bigger, like how you find it group.
Yeah, it would be nice though if they were actual tags and then you could search by tags. I don't know if Knack has a built-in tagging thing.
I think I see what you mean. So like if somebody thought that, for example, they can code in a certain, in a certain language, you might have a tag that says not just coder, but a coder like in C# or whatever. And then I can look for coding in C#. Oh, there's 2 projects that need help with that. Cool, I can do that.
Yeah, like if you're, if I'm running a team of people, there might be some tasks that we trade back and forth, and it's nicer if you know that your job role is these 50 roles, which are kind of tasks and skill sets.
Right.
And responsibility. It's really like responsibilities. What are the individual responsibilities that makes up that person takes on? But really, I don't think of it as a role like we traditionally say, software developer or manager. It's like I'm the manager that does these 50 things.
Right.
And then you can move the role from person to person, as opposed to from.
So it's more about like the individual things they're doing to try and get as precise as possible, which I totally agree with.
Yeah.
Not sure how we do that in Knack just yet, so that might be a future thing, but I totally agree that would be awesome to get sort of as detailed as possible. And I think you probably still need some kind of a higher level categorization just to be able to help people drill down.
Yeah.
Like to maybe start with developer and then it further breaks down and it further, gets even more specialized into like what languages and environments. And
yeah, it'd be nice if it had a hierarchy. What do they call that? Nomenclature, hierarchical nomenclature. I mean, terms are too big, but that would be helpful. But I don't know if DAC has that feature. There's very few systems that do.
Hi, Raymond. Yep. Well, this is the meta project group. So this is, I guess, the board meeting for what we're calling TogetherTec, which is the meta project group. And then we
next
alternate.
week's the Idea Cafe.
Exactly. So
perfect, because the 2 things I just added to the agenda were what do we want the question to be next week? We brainstormed some, what do we want to actually talk about next week, and I can post it. And then the other question I had was, I'm like, as I'm a kid, having, what was I saying? Let me just go back to the agenda. That'll jog my memory. Board meetings. Oh, yes. For these board meetings, go please, my love. For these board meetings, do we want to post the link for outside people to come and participate, or just like Idea Cafes clearly, but the board meeting itself, I am just going to post it in the Game B space, right? Game B projects. I say yes, because the worst that happens, someone shows up and they don't know what's going on, and that's cool. We let them know what's going on. But how does everyone else feel about posting?
I say yes until it becomes a problem. Or
Yeah.
if it becomes a problem. Because also, just how StreamYard works, if we have to add them to the stream. So if someone shows up and we add them and they're a jerk, we can kick them. And even if they keep showing up, we just don't add them to the stream.
Works out well.
So yeah, on the next site, the project roles, yeah, it's just a text box, right? So even just adding a text area description would probably be sufficient.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. I think there is I forget what I called it. I called it something vague where it was like, I think, expected role or expected responsibilities or something like that, which I think is on the layout. But if it's not, I can add it.
Yeah, not right now. So
Okay.
project work type, status, member, role name.
Okay, I'll have to go add that, yeah. Because there's something there.
Or it's
for
not
that.
showing up on my screen. Could be a permission issue.
And probably, yeah. I think I probably just didn't add it to the layout, so I'll have to go add that because that would make sense that you'd want that.
Gee. I don't know why, Raymond's. That's a different link. That's the link for tomorrow's, I think. So you're ahead of the game probably for tomorrow's, but let me just find you on here and I'll send you the link.
I went to tomorrow's as well before I got in today.
Which, sorry?
I went into tomorrow's meeting as well.
Okay, I must have gave the wrong one. Yay me! I'm so great at this. Why did Raymond come off and then go? It's like they didn't want me.
If you're in Facebook, I think that link is at the top of the Facebook chain in the one that you're commenting on, Raymond.
No, he's saying that I posted the wrong one, guys. I posted tomorrow's for today. Clearly, I'm on.
I guess
doing great here.
You posted the right one in the messaging system, so that's why we got it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the room that we're in, and the first comment on the string, and it's the same one. So I think it's
Facebook. Just go to Facebook. Another link. Like.
Yeah, there's a new link every week. So for trying each individual session, there's a different link to use to be able to join on video and audio.
And that's the way StreamYard works. That's not.
Yeah.
We didn't choose that.
Right.
And we're using StreamYard to stream, so it's an open meeting.
All right. Oh no! Stop! What's happening? Go away! Okay. Kimberly needs to mute herself before going through things in other tabs. All right. I went all the way there, and it just literally took me back to, like, I could have just posted it right here, and it would have posted to Facebook just fine. That was way too much runaround for that same thing. Raymond, can you find it? I posted it there. Hopefully it posted under it, because... Yeah, and it won't let me send you just the one personally. So there we go. It's there. We only have like 10 more minutes anyway.
The link will generally be under that post. So on the post in Facebook, usually the first comment will, I think in this case, it just said, it's just the link itself. Sometimes it will preface with, like, for those who want to join.
Yeah. And also, I just said earlier in this that every Sunday I'm going to put out all of my links. So it'll be posted in the project. The two for Fridays and Saturdays will be posted on Sundays for the following week. So instead of posting them Friday morning for Friday and Saturday, they'll be posted Sunday for the following Friday and Saturday.
And if you want to use the NAC prototype, it'll be a bit easier to find the link there because it'll just always be in the rightmost column.
Yeah, that too. I'm also doing that on Sunday. So.
And so with this question, I just want to make sure it's clear that what Raymond did first off would have normally worked. We just had a link issue. So what you did will be fine in the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you ever find
you
yourself in an empty
right.
room, the same thing happened, and I posted the wrong link. I'm doing StreamYard once. I even double check, and it's somehow, these
Although
things
I
happen.
tried, there was another Game Bee meeting, and I tried 2 or 3 times, and they said, "Oh yeah, we had it. We went off to other rooms," and I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, maybe stay in the main room for part of it. No.
It's only a few minutes late. Anyways, yeah.
Which is, I mean, most people come in 10, 15 minutes late. I had 2 things. I wanted to go to that yesterday, and then I had this co-op thing, and I had to go get my dad's medication, which Lower East End in Vancouver is quite interesting right now.
I can
It's
imagine.
not the topic. But poverty and COVID-19 do not mix.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Awesome. Yeah, tomorrow's is the
Raymond?
round table. So tomorrow is bring your project, and then we just introduce what we're doing and what we need help with, and then chat for an hour. It's pretty good.
And Raymond's saying the Game B group, but just to be clear, it's the Game B projects group to find it.
Yes,
I
Game
think
B
that's what he
projects.
meant because that's where he's at right now. But just in case there's confusion, I like having.
Sometimes we post in Game B as well, but very rarely. It's mainly Game B projects.
We don't
so
want to
that-
spam them.
more spam them with "Come join Bring Game B projects." If
Just
you- I don't
enough
think
to where
that's
they won't
spam.
kick us out.
I'm one of the admins. They actually totally could kick me out, but like really,
Although we haven't been
I'll let myself back in.
posting a lot, so it's not.
No.
It's not a big concern.
There's other people who post way more and way less relevant. Everything we do is relevant. Like it's
Yeah.
the issue is finding. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is correct. And then, of course, everyone's able to give feedback on how together we can move forward with TogetherTec and the Meta project. Like if someone else has an amazing idea on how to come together with our projects, everyone's welcome to share. We're just doing that at the moment because other people weren't. We took on projects.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're getting close to the end of the hour. I don't know if anyone has any other.
But one of the other things, it was just when we were talking about paying Jonas, and maybe this isn't the same for everyone else, but there's a difference to me between us deciding what to make and then someone going out and making it versus somebody just making it because they could, right? Like someone made the scheduler, he made that, and it's awesome. I like Jonas's thing more than the other one. And Adriel made the knack thing, right? Like there's a difference between we need it to be X and then paying someone to make X versus, oh, well, I could do Y, so I'm just going to do Y. There's like, it happens in the community that I'm part of quite frequently where like, someone will be like, I made all these garden boxes. It took me 10 hours. Yes, but nobody wanted you. I'm not saying this is Jonas, but nobody wanted you to make that, right? So no, that doesn't count. That's not your evening meal, right? That's not the same as us saying the playroom needs to be cleaned and someone organizing it. Even though under that other umbrella, things get done that are helpful. If like, it's like you don't really get credit unless
Right. So like
it's
work
something
has
we
to
wanted
be
to cover.
commissioned and agreed that's going to be paid ahead of time to like,
Basically,
hey, this is
yeah.
a paid posting. We're willing to pay for this thing. You could do anything you want, but only this thing pays.
Yeah.
Like, so how I built Mac, no one asked me to, I just went and did it. That shouldn't get paid. If suddenly there's a huge push and there's a bunch of work and stuff like that, then it might become, oh, okay, to make these changes, that's paid, then go ahead. But until the
And if we end
group
up-
decides.
Yeah. And if we end up using it, then a lot, then we could choose to pay server costs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then if we do need more features, then it can be like, well,
Right.
I could volunteer that, or I can pay, or other ones, and
Yeah.
it should all be open source. So if something happens to you, we can all jump in and someone else can add features, right?
Totally.
And I guess
yeah.
theoretically, we can also, if we wanted like just features done like that, but we didn't want to have a central thing, we could still just put it up on what's called bounty source for a feature, and that whoever wants to do it can do it, and then everyone can go and contribute to bounty source for it. So we do have options.
And I think, as somebody said in previous meetings, like I would imagine, especially for where things are at now, we would start off sort of wanting / expecting volunteers because we don't have any money right now. And then that sort of, until we say otherwise, all the work is just assumed to be volunteer. Once we can actually start offering bounties or commissions or whatever, then we'll make that clear. Hey, this one area is where you go to see that, and only the things that are listed, only how they're listed, that's how you get paid.
Like I said, there's a difference between commissioning it. There is, I think, a certain amount, like there might be something that someone is able to do, right? We have time right now, they have the skill, they can make it, and we could even commission the idea it gets paid in the future, right? Like, hey, this is valuable. If we had $10,000, we would love to pay you $10,000, but we don't. So how about $20,000 in the future, right? Which is, what does the future mean? Well, when we, not our first 20,000, right? When we get to 100,000, you get your 20,000 or whatever that looks like. That it can be an actual commission, but also because I don't think anyone's going to volunteer to get paid in the future when they don't trust the project, right? When they don't think that that's going to happen. So it's partly you're volunteering because you might never see this, but also we're paying you double, or we're paying you like what it's worth because we understand there's a risk involved in not getting that, or those kind of things. And it doesn't mean it's only because we don't have money, so we're not going to pay you. But futurely, we will probably have money, and what you're doing is worth it. But I would love to first look for volunteers, right? TogetherTec's bottom line, how we outcompete the current tech is that a lot of people have the ingenuity and the ability to volunteer and do that, and the skill. And then when we don't have that, we pay. But yeah. All right. Anyone have any closing comments before we say goodbye till tomorrow? Fridays is always weird. We see each other the next day.
I kind of have some questions, but maybe it's not a good time. So.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. Ask a question, Charlie.
I've been trying to just absorb whatever I can. And I guess I'm just a little bit confused. TogetherTec and the Meta Project. What is the Meta Project for TogetherTec? Is it still just open-ended right now? Is it something that we all could collaborate on one Meta Project? Or is that not part of it?
So TogetherTec theoretically is the Meta Project. The idea being that TogetherTec is the tech cooperative that we all own together and operate together. What does that look like? Well, in my vision, a year ago, it looked like the users owning it and us coming together and figuring out what most empowers our lives. When we got involved in Game B, then other people actually got involved. It turns out everyone has a project, everyone has their baby. And so it made more sense to find out how can we create omni-win solutions for our projects instead of just for the people. And so now we're focusing on what does it look like to be part of solution raising, part of WikiLection, part of Reason Score, and how can we facilitate our common problems together, right? Everyone has got to figure out marketing. Everyone has to figure out funding and trust. How do we do that? Well, my kid's calling me from the other room while I'm live on camera. How do we facilitate the omni-win solutions? And so that's the Meta Project. It's named TogetherTec. It might, you know what I mean? If Game B takes it over, I change the name, but the idea is that. Does that make more sense? We interchange Meta Project and TogetherTec. It isn't a specific thing. It is the umbrella of how do we create omni-win solutions together within our current capacity, financially, skill-wise, all of that. That's currently like the knack project list and the scheduling and all of these things that were kind of done under the umbrella of TogetherTec of, hey, yes, there's a need for that. And then someone went out and made it. They just weren't commissioned like that. Does that make sense, Shiloh?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It started out, we just called it the Meta Project, but before it really was anything. And then Jubilee already had a project called TogetherTec that we're like, hey, let's just steal that name. And then it's called Game B Projects in Facebook because it's sort of a part of the Game B community. But like, even if you look in the URL, it's actually got TogetherTec in the URL. So like all three of them are kind of the same thing that have evolved to be that. I was trying to just for myself, try to figure out like what is TogetherTec, like how would I describe it to someone? And the list that I had was like, it's kind of one of its main purposes is to come up with those best practices for omni-win projects. And it might not be suitable for all of them. It might be like, here's what tech looks like. Here's what, like, if you're doing farming as a part of an omni-win project, here's what we've learned. I think it'll end up being like a network of omni-win projects. And then it's meant to itself act like an omni-win project. So we can sort of test out some of the tools and the strategies that we're talking about. That's what it is to me. I don't know if that helps.
So Steve had a good question. What does it look like to be part of Game B, TogetherTec, MetaTech? So yeah, TogetherTec, MetaTech are pretty much the same. Meta Project and TogetherTec are pretty much the same thing. TogetherTec was an attempt at Game B. I mean, yeah, so we're practicing Game B by building technology together. That's a meta project because the project is to help other projects do it. So meta project is what it is. The name is TogetherTec, and all this fluctuates because we don't know what we're doing. But yeah, participation in TogetherTec and in the Meta project is just coming to this meeting, saying what we want to do together and figuring out how to do it. So you are all hereby participants.
Like, do you want to be in it? You're in it. Like,
Yeah,
if
right.
you're attending and want to be in it, we're not forcing you.
And that's it. And then we build it together. I mean, so, we were starting to do some stuff, but then we kind of thought, well, we need more people because we're just kind of like building castles in the sky. So whatever y'all want to do together to make the world a better place, a little bit through technology, just show up and tell us what you want. We'll figure it out together. Is that right?
Yeah, I think between the three of us,
Yeah.
as per usual, there's a yes. Those three
It's
answers.
pretty loose.
All right, it is now the hour. I think we should,
Yeah.
so my kid doesn't call a fourth time. I'm gonna go and deal with that. So
All
should
right.
we say goodbye to YouTube, or was there anything else?
That's it.
No, I'm good.
And Facebook. All right, thanks guys for watching, and we'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Come and join. Bring your project. Let's create solutions together. All right.
And that's 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yes. Thank